Moved by Councillor Rolla, seconded by Councillor Campanella. Resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that Council acknowledges that we are meeting in the Rognan Superior Treaty Area on lands that have been traditionally used by several Indigenous nations. But we would like to pay special recognition to our closest Indigenous neighbours, the communities of Pitikon, Shinabik, and Mi'kmaq First Nations. We wish to recognize the long history of the First Nations and Métis people in our region specifically and show respect to them today. All in favor? I'll call the meeting to order.
Additions to the agenda. Addition to business 1207, Administration Report ADM 2022-21, submitted by Jolene Keogh, Clerk Planning Administrator, regarding amendment to Bylaw 2022-10, alternative voting method for the 2022 municipal election to address advanced voting and proxies. Addition to closed session 15-06, Section 239-2B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, staff matters. Addition to bylaws 13-07 or 01, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2022-10, being a bylaw to authorize the use of internet and telephone voting as an alternative voting method for the 2022 municipal election for inclusion of advanced voting and proxies.
Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none, we move to the approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Campanella, seconded by Councillor Rolla. Resolves that the agenda be approved as amended. All in favor? Delegation and presentation. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Campanella. Resolved the councillors have received a presentation provided by Staff Sergeant Camille Richem, Detachment Commander Marathon BP, regarding the Township of Manitowoc's first quarterly report.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm pleased to present Staff Sergeant Camille Descharmes, who is here to present the first quarter report for the OPP with regard to service provision in Manitowoc. Over to you, Cam.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, first, it's great to kind of meet everybody here. I've obviously seen a few here and there. Obviously, I've been to the office and met with Florence as well. So just a bit about me. So obviously, I've been in this role now here for just over a year. But again, with the state of the world nowadays, it seems like it's just yesterday about being able to go to meet everybody and things like that. So it's great to see everyone here. Again, a little bit about my background. So I've been with the OPP for 17 years. 10 of those years have actually been spent in satellite detachments such as Manitowoc. So that's why I definitely care a lot about our satellite office here. And again, because I understand what it's like to work out of the satellite office. Before coming to this job, I was actually on the Striver detachment for 7 years, and 5 of those years were as the sole detachment sergeant. So again, knowing what it takes to run a small office where again you're a considerable distance away from the detachment commander, I definitely appreciate the issues that can come up with that. So we can speak about the sergeant role. Actually, the reason I'm not up there tonight is we actually had our interviews today to fill our vacant sergeant position in Manitowoc. So I'm very hopeful within the next maybe 2 to 3 weeks, the sergeant position will be filled for the Manitowoc detachment. So again, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's great news for us, not only for Manitowoc, but for our entire cluster. So I'm hopeful to have that news for us in 2 to 3 weeks. I'll be sure to let you know how that transpired. And again, so for the reports as well, so I'm not sure if this has ever been done, and maybe for some people who've been on council for an extended period of time could let me know, have reports been given to you guys in the past, or kind of how has that transpired?
Yes, they have, but not in this group, or not. I don't know what the last council, I don't know if they had it. The last 2 terms that I was mayor, we had it.
Okay, excellent, okay. So again, we quickly kind of go through this. Again, if anything, obviously, please interact. If there's any questions or anything you'd like to speak about, please let me know. We can definitely go through that. So again, if we just skip, obviously I'll count that title page as the first page. So you can skip to page 2 and it speaks about provincial offense notices in the community. It is important to note that these do not include the statistics from our traffic number. So we're in an interesting position in Manitowoc. We have all of our members who are posted in Manitowoc detachment, but we're also actually a traffic member working for out of our regional headquarters. So he does not, while he works out of our detachment, he is not part of our complement and does not count towards our statistics. So again, he solely focuses on traffic, and those are his duties. So again, unfortunately, his statistics are not included in anything that we're going to see here tonight. We jump to page 3, which starts with daily and hourly occurrences in the township. You'll see pretty straightforward. It appears that Monday's the busiest day. I don't think most people would have thought that, but again, Mondays are a little bit steadier. And again, looking throughout the hourly kind of rates here, it appears the 8 o'clock to around noon is the busiest time for that point in time. A little bit further down, it has a breakdown by month. And again, you'll see it's pretty well status quo, anything from 40 to 46 calls per month throughout January, February, and March. And again, we still have the breakdowns by time and days there as well throughout the week. As we jump to the next page, get to more numbers, statistics that I know Florence loves. So we'll get into calls for service, billing summaries. And again, so here you'll have a breakdown, and it does compare from 2022 to 2021 as well. So you can see if there's any kind of variations from this point in time, 2022, to what it was in 2021. You'll see most things are fairly straightforward. No huge jumps that really sticks out. If you do continue to jump, the one thing that I did see that I wanted to discuss with you guys as well, if you jump towards what I'll call the third page of the calls for service summary report, towards the bottom of that, you will see operational 2, it calls false alarms. So you will see this year from January to March, we only had 1, whereas compared to last year, January to March 2021, we had 10. So I was wondering, does the township have any type of bylaw or anything like that regarding the use of false alarms? So in other words, let's say some sort of warning mechanism in place, whereas if there are excessive false alarms, that there is some sort of fine in place or anything else like that. Does the township have something like that?
Not to my knowledge, Cam.
Okay, no, understood. I know, and I've worked in several communities. Again, some have had that, some have not. Again, they just looked at it more as, I think, a way to curb the false alarms against just the repeated calls that then in turn increase the cost for the township, right? So, but again, that's great if you don't have that. That's excellent. And again, it's encouraging to see that it has dropped dramatically during this quarter compared to the first quarter of 2021. As we keep going through the reports, again, just still have more of a breakdown for statistics comparing January, March 2021 to January, March 2022. And again, you'll see no significant jumps or increases or decreases really in anything that's kind of transpired from the first quarter of 2021 to 2022. And on the last page, you will see clearance rates. You'll see violent crime clearance rate for 2022 so far has been 100%. So again, that means any violent crime has been totally cleared as far as cleared by charge, or some sort of diversionary action was taken, anything else like that. You'll see property crime as well. 2021, it was 40% clearance rate. 2022, it has dropped to 28.6. Property crime historically is something that traditionally has not a 100% clearance rate. Those are your classic ones, such as a mischief or a theft that occur overnight, and traditionally more difficult to clear, we'll say. So again, traditionally we'll see more numbers of those. But again, I can assure you we'll continue to work hard to increase the number from 28.6% clearance rate, but we can definitely do better than that and increase that number. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions or any comments or would like to discuss something about the report itself, or just about policing in general, policing management. I'm more than open to speak to what I think.
Any questions?
Through the chair, I'm just wondering if you're, I guess, the amount of people based in Manitouwadge, is that up to the quota that you're expecting, or are we still short, or have we been short?
So we're not doing too bad now. So we do have 5 members in Manitouwadge, and then also, again, we're fortunate to have this extra member that doesn't count on our books, so really we have 6. But again, actually working on Manitouwadge, we have 5. Again, we're working to fill this sergeant competition, sergeant vacancy, which then in turn will give us 6. Of course, the caveat to that is if it's an internal member that obtains that position, it's great because they have that local knowledge. But then, of course, now that constable spot is vacant, right? So now we have to work to fill that. But again, That's just the nature of the beast, right? But again, we'll work hard to fill that position as well. But compared to how we were when I first obtained this spot to how we are now, our staffing numbers are very good. And again, it's very important to know that again, we work in a cluster here, right? So again, if assistance is required from the Marathon Detachment itself, our partners at the Shawinigan Police Service that take care of Pick River have also always been great. If it's an emergency situation, to head up to Manitowoc to help us out as well. So again, we have numerous officers that are able to help us out here. But again, our staff members just for Manitowoc right now are very good. Again, we have 6 people working out of that office right now.
Perfect, thank you.
Further questions? Well, thank you very much for the presentation. And be it further resolved that Council thanks Staff Sergeant Camille Duchesne and for attending and providing the presentation to Council. All in favor? Thank you. And thank you very much for the presentation. And we will get
No problem. All right, guys, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cam.
No problem.
Moved by Councilor Moffat, second by Councilor Roll. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting held March 23rd, 2022 are adopted and circulated. All in favor? There are no petitions, so we move to correspondence. Is there any of the correspondence that we want to bring down? Moved by Councilor Moffat, seconded by Councilor Campanella. Resolved that correspondence items 08-01 to 08-07 be received and filed. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Campanella, seconded by Councilor Moffat. Resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Thunder Bay District Board of Health held February 16, 2022 be accepted as received. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Campanella, seconded by Councilor Moffat. Resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Thunder Bay District Social Service Administration Board held February 17, 2022 be accepted as received. All in favor? I have just 2 small announcements to make for today, but one of them is very important. Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators, known as CAMA, has recently issued their Long Service Recognition Award program for their members. The awards are based on the number of years of full-time paid employment in municipal government in a management capacity as a Chief Administration Officer, reporting directly to the Chief Administration Officer. Congratulations to Florence McLean, who is being recognized by CAMA for her 10 years of municipal service in a management capacity. I would like to present you with token of appreciation. Thank you very much. You want somebody to take a picture? Should we get?
Go ahead.
I will do it and put it in the next.
Okay, in the next board now.
Yes. And the second thing is our Director of Public Works, Darren McKenzie, and I went to Toronto to the OBRA conference, and we made 3 delegations. One to Department of Transport on behalf of the township, and one to Infrastructure on behalf of the township, and the third one was with Department of Transport on behalf of all the 6 communities from here to Chapleau, as far as driver tests are concerned. All of the presentations went very well, and I'd like to let Darren speak about the transportation department.
Thank you to you, Chair. Being my first in Director Road was an amazing experience. Going into the first delegation, I'm expecting 5 people from the province and another 14 people from the province in our room. We had both the policymakers and the political side that sat in on it. So it was originally a little bit intimidating, but going forward, it was a very productive meeting. Our concerns were all answered. The funding for the corner project is there, and we'll be working together. We've got the contact information, and it's already starting to move forward. We also have a plan for when the washing facility at the corner will be completed and be turned over fully to us to maintain. We also found out that the maintenance of the 614 sand dome and the yard will occur outside of town on the 614 as originally planned. It will not be detached out of the marathon, and plan on having it in place before the end of 2022, so it will be operational. So that was all good news. It also was very productive in the fact that the team's open to hearing from us basically any time. We don't have to wait until any of the conferences that if we have anything to reach out and discuss.
And there was some discussion about the possibility of having charging stations as well as that,
That is correct.
providing the electricity.
Correct. We are looking at, I just have to go and see what the power station is at the 614 to see if it, I know it's at least 600, I just don't know if it's beyond that for the station. If it's in the current PV station is there.
Perfect.
Any questions?
Let's bring it on. Let's get it started.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the other one is Florence will speak about the infrastructure grant that we applied during her discussion at CAO.
My CAO update.
You're up.
Okay, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, we're pleased to announce that in a delegation with the Minister of Infrastructure, Mayor McEachran and Darren McKenzie were advised that our application that we submitted last fall for a road upgrade project, including water and wastewater, was approved. The project costs are $5 million, and the federal and provincial governments will be covering the costs of that up to 76%. The municipality's contribution is 24%. So that was really great news, and that is a project that we discussed during our budget deliberations at the end of March that will see the water and wastewater infrastructure and the road infrastructure upgraded on Manitou Road from the old senior center approximately to the roundabout. And those costs were estimated at $5 million by our engineers. So we will start design work this year and be ready for construction next spring.
Any questions?
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Glad you're up.
Just a few more updates with regard to recreation. So the ice is out now at the arena, and we'd really like to thank the staff working at the Recreation Center for all their hard work, both in the curling rink and the skating rink. And also as well, thanks to minor hockey and the curling club for all their hard work in running the programs there this past winter. Moving on to things that sound like spring but don't feel like spring yet. We are planning an Adopt a Flower Bed program again, similar to what was offered last year. And we're looking for volunteers and groups to put their name forward to take care of a bed or two. And they can contact Nikki, community programmer here at the office. As well as we're planning a spring market that will happen on April 30th at the Recreation Center from 2 to 4. We already have 20 tables confirmed. There's still room for more, so people are encouraged to contact Nikki for that. And as well, we're planning a Mother's Day event on Sunday, May the 8th. And the location is still to be determined, but it will include a luncheon, a photo booth, and other fun events planned for the day. And just a reminder for garbage and recycling pickup, we do know that there have been some hiccups over the first few weeks. I think we have the last of the hiccups sorted out, and next week should run very smoothly. And just a reminder that garbage pickup starts at 8 a.m. and to have the garbage out prior to that, because they are very quick in coming around. So if you put it out late, it might not get picked up.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Mott, seconded by Councillor Campanello. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report PW 2022-04, submitted by Darren McKenzie, Director of Public Works and Facilities, regarding the 2021 wastewater treatment system annual report. Your Honor.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Before you is the third of Ontario Clean Water Agency's annual reports that is submitted to us that we have a legislative requirement to provide to the province. This one's on our wastewater treatment facilities. The big part coming out of it is that there was no operational issues. We had no sludge that was required to be removed from the lagoons, and there was no complaints or environmental incidents that happened within 2021. So it actually is a clean report that we're just looking to be received so that we can send it off to the ministry.
No.
And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, that report number PW 2022-04 regarding the 2021 wastewater treatment system annual report prepared by Ontario Clean Water Agency be accepted as received. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Campanella, seconded by Councillor Rowland. Resolved that Council will receive an Administration Report CS 2022-02 submitted by Katie Law, Director of Community and Economic Development, regarding the Santé Manitowoc's Health Charity Development.
Good evening. Through you, Mr. Chair. As you may have recalled in the past, Santé Manitowoc Health held a annual fundraiser in which they would raise monies for different hospital equipment. Over the last 2 years, they haven't hosted the event due to COVID and the restrictions. Now that restrictions are easing, they're hoping that they can host the event, and they're looking for us to waive the fees. This year, the equipment that they're hoping to update is the physiotherapy department equipment, and in particular, they're looking to purchase a new cardiac treadmill. So they've sourced it, they know where they want to purchase it from, but this tournament will help them be successful in raising enough monies for that. The tournament will be on June the 18th, and they're anticipating about 76 members going by previous years, after which they'll have a silent auction and a dinner at the clubhouse, but they are requesting that we are waiving the fees for them.
Okay. To the Chair. Now, is this common practice that we've donated for tournaments in the past, or is this like a one-off? Is this get an approval every year for every tournament?
Does that mean? So it's my understanding that we waive the fees for them annually. However, typically we go through the nonprofit process, and so those requests go out in October. What I think may have happened this year is that many people were unsure of what would be happening. So the restrictions back in October compared to the restrictions now, perhaps they thought it wasn't feasible. So their request is coming in a little bit late. But typically we ask for them to have that to us through the agreements, in which if it meets a certain threshold, the Director of Community and Economic Development can make the call to accept it. I believe the threshold is $750, and then we would bring it to Council and just make you aware that these are the things that we have waived.
Okay, so just to clarify that, because they missed the nonprofit application, this is just a one-off?
Yes.
To ask for
yes. So what we're asking is that should Council agree to this, that we can direct Santé Manitowoc Health to just reach out to the Chief Administrative Officer and the Director of Community and Economic Development, and we can make the call from there.
Are you saying for this particular
For
term?
future years, yes.
For future years?
Yes.
Why wouldn't they go through the nonprofit program?
Our hope is that they would go through the nonprofit program.
Okay. Because I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yes.
For all groups to go
Absolutely.
through the same facility. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And Be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that council approves the request from Santé Manitowoc Health to waive the green fees for their annual golf fundraising tournament on June 18, 2022, and further that council approves that future years requests from Santé Manitowoc Health will be directed to the Chief Administration Officer and Director of Community and Economic Development for their review and approval. All in favor? Did you have a problem?
But yeah, the only thing was with the future years. I don't think this should be a forever
Okay.
thing.
So
Like,
what
this
you're
should be
saying is
along
they should from now on use the nonprofit status?
Yeah, I think so, just like any other group would. That's my thought. This should be like every year, if they want, they should ask, not forever and ever, is how I see it.
Because that is the process we use for every other nonprofit, right? Okay, so how do we want to change that?
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just the last paragraph, we should say in future they would go through the process.
Yeah.
Okay? And council approves that in future years, the request from Santé Manitowoc Health will go through the normal non-profit process.
Correct. Yeah.
All in favor? Moved by Councilor Scapanello, seconded by Councilor Moffat. Resolved that Council has received an administration report TR 2022-05 submitted by Chris Towns, Treasurer, regarding the Q1 2022 accumulated expense report.
Thank you.
Yes,
Through
sir.
the chair, I have provided council with the new standard quarterly financial report. It is the same as every other one. However, without an approved budget, it's not a variance report. It's a picture as of today with our quarterly revenues and expenses today. Are there any questions regarding the financial?
Well, just one little, I guess, comment. Is it, how can I say this? Lined up with what's projected? The expense?
Well, yes, with the exception, honestly, of hydro and propane costs. They have increased rather significantly. They are beyond our control. However, we hope that between the OEB and everything else, they kind of flatline throughout the rest of the year and we stay on target.
Okay, so other than that, it's on
Yeah,
course, okay.
No
Yeah.
concerns.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. No further questions? Be it further resolved that upon conclusion of council's review and consideration, that council approves the Q1 2022 accumulated expense report as presented. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Scampanello, seconded by Councilor Roll. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report ADM 2022-16 submitted by Jolene Keogh, Clerk, Planning Administrator, regarding restricted acts of council, lame duck periods during the 2022 municipal election.
Thank you, through the chair. As council is aware, we're in an election year, and we could end up having council go through two periods that are considered lame duck. There's certain restrictions that come with that if we don't have enough of council, current council. So between nomination day and election day, as well as from election day to the new term of the new council. So the Municipal Act has restrictions in there, and so to remedy that, most municipalities do pass a bylaw appointing the CAO, delegating the authority to do those certain acts that are in municipal act.
Be it further resolved that Upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, that Council receives Administration Report ADM 2022 submitted by Jolene Hill, Clerk Planning Administrator, regarding Restricted Act Council lame duck period during the 2022 election, and further that the clerk be directed to prepare the necessary bylaw to nomination day, August 19th, 2022, delegating authority to the Chief Administration Officer from August 19th, 2022 to November 14th, 2022 to be the financial signing authority for expenditures outside the current budget exceeding $50,000 and or for the disposition of any real or personal property or the municipality which has a value exceeding $50,000 at the time of disposal. Be it authorized to hire or dismiss any employees of the municipality of the Township of Manitowoc, and further that a clause be included in the bylaw that the CAO will report to Council at the next Council meeting or as soon as practical on all the actions taken under the restricted delegation, and further that the bylaw come into first only in the event when determined by the clerk with certainty less than 45% of the current members of Council will be returning to sit on the new Council after nomination day or after election day of the 2022 municipal election. All in favor? That was a mouthful. The next item is delegations to the AMO meeting in August in Ottawa. So, do we have any things that we want delegations on?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I have some suggestions, and I can run through those, and Council can determine if they are in agreement or not. But first, just a point that, as you know, we're going into a provincial election the first week of June. The outcome of that is yet to be determined, and it will also affect which party is in power when we meet with ministers in Ottawa in August. So it may not be the same party, and their priorities may have shifted from what they currently are, especially around Ministry of Northern Development and Mines and funding through NOHFC. If it's a new party that's elected, they generally have a waiting period while they review the programs that they have available. So it's a bit of a unknown at the moment which party will be in power and who we will be meeting with. But having said that, I do have some suggestions for delegations with ministers, and it's been a while since we've had a chat with Santé Manitowoc Health, but my understanding is that there is still a doctor and nursing shortage, and so if we could request a delegation with the Minister of Health to discuss that. In addition, we're very appreciative of the additional beds, that long-term care beds that have been allocated there, but that only puts further pressure on the hospital in terms of staffing. So although the funding is great for the capital project, there needs to be funding for staffing and operations. So that's one suggestion. The Minister of Environment, I would suggest trying to get a delegation with them to talk about the Suncor property and having some remediation there. I would also suggest having a delegation with the Minister of Energy, as Chris Towns mentioned in his presentation of the first quarter report. The higher energy costs for both propane and hydro. It may be advantageous to talk to the Minister of Energy about looking again at our natural gas project and being able to provide a more affordable heating and energy infrastructure for the residents of Manitowoc and even on the North Shore altogether. And then the last suggestion would be with the Minister of Northern Development and Mines to talk about NOHFC funding to assist us in costs of renovating the arena and the recreation center. This will be a big project that we will have to undertake in the next couple of years, and the more funding we can get for that, the better for the ratepayers in Manitowoc. So we should start lobbying for that sooner than later. Those are my suggestions, and if council has any, we'd be happy to discuss those too.
Yeah, if you have any more, I agree with all 4 of those, so if there's any more that you think we should...
Yeah, I think they're all great suggestions, and
Through the chair, would we possibly be able to meet with the Minister of Transportation, Curtis, to talk about possible upgrades to the 614?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect,
There are some
thank you.
good speed bumps on 614 at the moment.
Okay, so that would be the 5, eh? Health, environment, energy, northern development, mines, and transportation. Moved by Councillor Scampanella, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that Council request delegations with the following ministers at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario 2022 Annual Conference. Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Energies, Northern Development and Mines, and the Ministry of Transportation. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Rolla. Resolved that Council has received the Administration Report ADM 2022-17 submitted by Florence McLean, CAO, regarding the 2021 Annual Report and recording of strategic accomplishments.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. This was a bit of a walk down memory lane for staff who were able to look back over the past year to see what projects that they were able to accomplish in addition to the regular day-to-day operations of the municipality. And many of these projects were identified through the strategic planning session that was held with Council in May, and then further approved by Council in August. And it was also an opportunity to recognize the staff contributions who assisted along the way over the past year, and to provide Council with statistics on the operations, whether it be Public Works and the number of water breaks, or the fire department and the volunteers, or whether it be the staff that we have working in each department. So although staff didn't really enjoy having to do an extra job this time in pulling all this information together, I think it really creates a good picture of what we were able to accomplish over the past 10 months since our strat plan was approved. So the report's for your information, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. And be it further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, Council accepts the 2029 annual report as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Scampanello. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report ADM 2022-21 submitted by Jolene Keogh, Clerk Planning Administrator, regarding the amendment to Bylaw 2022-10, alternative voting method for the 2022 municipal election to address advanced voting and proxies.
Thank you, through the chair. Elections again. So we're just looking to add advanced voting and a section regarding proxy voting to the alternative voting method bylaw that was passed by Council in February. Is just to update the bylaw and to allow for those two provisions.
Okay. To be further resolved that upon conclusion of Council's review and consideration, Council is in receipt of Administration Report 2022-21. Further, that Council approves the amendment to bylaw 2022-10. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Rolla, seconded by Councillor Moffat, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2022-10, being a bylaw to authorize the use of internet and telephone voting as an alternative voting method for the 2022 municipal election for inclusion of advanced voting and proxies. Be read a first and second time. And further be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2022-19. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Scapanella, seconded by Councillor Rolla, whereas Section 239(4) of the Municipal Act, 2001 SO 2001C 25, provides that before holding a meeting or part of a meeting that is to be closed to the public, the municipality or local board or committee of either of them shall state by resolution the fact of holding of the closed meeting and the general nature of the matter to be considered at the closed meeting. Now therefore be it resolved that this meeting is hereby closed to the public, that the subject matter being discussed falls under the following sections. Section 239(2)(I), a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, or financial information that belongs to the municipality or local board and that has monetary value or potentially monetary value. Northern Broadband. Section 239(2)(C), a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, a lease agreement. 239(2)(B), personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, staff retirement. Section 239(2)(B), personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, correspondence from constituents. Section 239(2)(B), personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, complaints from constituents. Section 239(2)(B), personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or staff or local board employees, staff matters. All in favor?